What's going on YouTube? So when you think of three-row luxury SUVs, probably the first one you think of is the Escalade. But Cadillac is getting ready to add another three-row luxury SUV to their lineup. And we're in Detroit today to check it out. This is the all-new 2026 Cadillac VISTIQ. So with design and technology borrowed from the flagship Escalade, plus plenty of luxury and plenty of space, is this the three-row luxury SUV to beat? Well, let's go ahead and take a detailed first look to find out. So let's start things out here with the exterior design. Now, one of the first things that I noticed walking up to this vehicle today in the studio was just how similar this looks to the Escalade IQ. Again, that is going to be the flagship of the Cadillac lineup. And you can see that right up here, beginning in the front end design. Now, of course, this being a name that ends with IQ does mean this is an electric product, and you'll see that up here in the front with our grille that is sealed off. It is also illuminated, so it has all the signature lighting elements like we've seen on many of the other electric Cadillac products. Now this is going to be launched in 3 different versions. You're going to have Luxury 1, Luxury 2, and Sport trims. A Platinum trim will be introduced later on. What we're looking at today is the Sport model. Now moving on to our headlights, you can see here we've got this beautiful stacked crystal design, again very similar to other Cadillac models. You will also have animations as well throughout the lighting. Now moving on to our wheels, you will of course have several different choices you can choose between. We today have the standard 21-inch alloy wheels on the Sport model, but you can actually option on available 22 and even 23-inch alloy wheels. Another interesting thing here at the wheels is the fact that this has an available rear steering system, so the back wheels can actually turn to help you when you're cornering as well as with overall maneuverability. Now your charge port is going to be located right there on the side. Of course, as you can see, we've got a gloss black finish on our mirrors, as well as standard blind spot monitoring, auto dimming, and power folding.
Now at the side of the all-new VISTIQ, you're once again going to see a design that's very similar to that flagship Escalade IQ. Now as far as overall vehicle length, I'll go ahead and insert that in a text box down below, but this is still a very big SUV, and you can definitely see that here in person. Now, as far as some of the other design characteristics that you'll notice, we have the flush mount door handles that have actually popped out because the vehicle is unlocked. And then we do have a blacked out window surround for this Sport model. You're also going to notice the signature D-pillar design that's radiated through quite a few of the different Cadillac electric SUVs and roof rails up top. But now let's go ahead and transition back here to the rear design of this new VISTIQ. Now I have to say, here in person, this thing looks really, really good. It has a lot of different design touches going on, so let's go ahead and break those down. So we have a spoiler up top. We're also going to have a hidden wiper underneath. I'm also noticing that our brake light portion is integrated into this, and it has kind of a cool lyric-like design to it. As we drop down to this middle piece, this is going to be finished in a gloss black. And then our taillights, once again, are going to be very reminiscent to that fully loaded Escalade IQ. They're going to be fully LED, have animations as well, and they do have a nice clear lens to them. Now as we drop down to the lower fascia, this is gloss black as well as some body color. Of course it's electric, so you're not going to have any exposed exhaust outlets, and I'll insert the tow rating in a text box down below. Now when it comes to your safety systems, you are going to get all of those as standard equipment. This is a luxury 3-row after all. You're additionally going to have Cadillac's Super Cruise system, which is a very advanced highway hands-free assistant. So definitely happy to see that here on the VISTIQ. But I think you're going to be very curious to see what you get on the inside, so let's dive into that. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, now let's move on to the interior. Before we get inside, we'll take a quick look at the fob. Got your typical Cadillac key fob, little metal accenting down there on the side, as well as the ability to precondition the cabin. And then walking up to the vehicle, it will go ahead and sense your approach and pop out these door handles that Mason was mentioning earlier. You're just going to grab the end there to open it right up. All right, and let's check out this interior. So first of all, you are going to notice, like I said, a lot of elements from the flagship models in Cadillac's lineup on board. And before we get into all the individual technology and luxury features, let's talk a little bit about the seats. As you can see, we've got a nice looking black seat on board with the color contrast piping and stitching details. You do of course have a variety of different interior options that you can choose between, and you're also going to have various different trims you can choose between as well. We've got a carbon fiber like trim all around this interior here on the Sport model. Over here on the door trim, you'll notice that this is where we adjust our seats. You've got all these different controls right here. You have your memory seats, heated and ventilated seats, as well as an available massage function. But let's go ahead and climb inside. Now that I climbed inside and closed up the door, let's go ahead and get into the rest of the cabin materials. So, starting out over here with our door trim, you will see kind of a leatherette pad all through here. It is going to be a padded plastic along the top, and again, we've got that carbon fiber trim I was mentioning earlier. That has kind of ambient lighting going down below it. We have some aluminum trim that comes out through there, as well as a real metal door handle. And then as we take a look at the top of the dashboard, this is all finished in a soft touch plastic. You have some more of that brushed aluminum look that goes through here. And then this vehicle doesn't have a start button, so when you do get inside and put your foot on the brake, that is when the system will normally boot up. It kind of beat me to the punch there just a little bit, but this is a pre-production model, so of course keep that in mind. And now that it is booted up, let's get into immediately here our technology. So Cadillac has been doing some really impressive displays recently, and this has the 33-inch display that has this nice curved look. It goes all the way across the dash here, kind of encompassing both your gauge cluster, your traditional infotainment, as well as your multi-function display on board. Now, obviously, if you're choosing between this in the future and the Cadillac Escalade IQ, that one is going to get the super wide 55-inch display, so not quite as many displays on board, but this is still a super impressive display. In terms of your graphics, obviously you are going to have some beautiful graphics on board. This is fully customizable with our gauge cluster. Again, over here you can go through many of your settings as well. And then we've got a head-up display up at the top. Moving back to the steering wheel, we've got the latest design like the Lyric. You've got kind of some touch capacitive buttons through here. You do have a heated steering wheel. It is also power tilt and telescoping. And then we've got a little button here with V on it, which I'm assuming is probably what temporarily boosts the performance to give you that maximum 0 to 60 speed. Now, let's take a look at interior storage. So, opening up our console, we've got a lot of prototype paperwork, but as you can see, nice and deep, good felt lining on board. You've got a couple cup holders in front of that. Up in front of this area, you have a huge storage cubby where you can stick various different things, and you also have this huge pass-through down here at the bottom. So a lot of different storage compartments that you can mess around with, which is what we expect, from an electric product. Now, of course, your shifter here is an electronic style shifter. You will have a 360 camera on board, which I can see if I can pull up here real fast by pressing that. So there's your 360 camera. You're going to have several different views that you can choose between. Now, as we turn our attention back into this area, you'll notice we have a control knob. This does also control the infotainment system, in addition to it being a touchscreen. And then above that, we have our volume knob for our available 23-speaker AKG audio system. So this, of course, is a high-end audio system. One of the things Cadillac was talking about is that it has special speaker grills on board that are jewel-like and exclusive to the VISTIQ as opposed to any of the other Cadillacs in the lineup. And of course, if it's anything like the other Cadillacs, this will be a very excellent sounding sound system. Now, let's kind of move our attention into this region. So you saw me kind of move past this and look at the storage behind it earlier, but we've got a secondary display on board, which is used for climate controls. So one of the interesting things about this VISTIQ is that it has an available 5-zone automatic climate control system. That's right, 5 different zones on board. You can dig in and actually adjust those different zones using this display. Of course, this is a touchscreen. You can engage with the second row as well. And this is also where we can activate things like our heated seats and ventilated seats redundantly from those controls over there, and our massage as well. And then up above, part of that 33-inch system, we of course have our main infotainment system. This is the latest and greatest in terms of Cadillac, so everything is nice and smooth. The graphics are super crisp. It's going to have Google Apps built into it, so you have Google Maps, things like that. You also do have an automatic parking assistant. I'm also noticing there's a lot of beautiful ambient lighting in here. They've got lights that are running along the console here across the dash. Mason even pointed out up here in our sunroof area, we even have illumination coming through there. And speaking of that, as you can see up here, you do have that panoramic style sunroof, which does come with the conventional sunshade, something that the Escalade IQ does not have. And then finally, wrapping up the interior here, we've got the digital camera rear view mirror.
But this is a 3-row luxury SUV, so we need to dive into what you're going to get in the rear seat area as well. Well, I'm happy to tell you that you're going to get a lot of space as well as a lot of luxury. Now, as far as those official space figures, we don't have those at the time of us filming this. We will try and insert those in a box down below if we can get those available to us. But as far as what I'm seeing right now here in person, I'm 5'9" for reference. This is adjusted pretty much to Drew's position. I'm looking at probably, I'd say 7 or 8 inches of additional knee room. My feet can slide up underneath of the seat, so I'm overall very comfortable. Also, this seat can slide forward and back a very good distance, as well as recline. So this is a very comfortable seat. As you can see, we also have captain's chairs on this particular model. I would also probably assume that bench seating would be available, although we don't have that official information just yet. Now, as far as some really cool things that you're going to see back here, our control panel is now a full touchscreen. So this is a pretty large touchscreen. It looks to be about, 8 inches or so. This will allow you to adjust your own climate control back here in the rear itself. Additionally, if I click on this menu, that will allow me to turn on my heated and ventilated rear seats here in the back. So yeah, heated and ventilated rear seats. Additionally, I am seeing a button for massage. I will confirm with Cadillac to see if that's actually available in the second row and not just a software thing, but that would be a really nice feature to see here on the VISTIQ. Down below that, we have 2 vents. We also have a household outlet, 2 USB-C ports. And then if we turn over to the door trim, you're going to notice that we have a really nice one. It's made of soft touch plastic, lots of ambient lighting, as well as some metal speaker grills, tons of door storage as well. And then we have vents coming out of the B pillar. But let's go ahead and check out the third row. Now, in order to get into the third row, they've made it super easy, so you just press that button right there. It's actually going to tilt and allow the seat to slide up and out of the way. I don't even believe you would need to remove a child seat, so that's certainly nice. Now, let's go ahead and hop back here and see how good the third row is in this new VISTIQ. Now, this is my first time back here. We only have a little bit of time with this vehicle, and first impressions, it's pretty good when it comes to space. Now, as you can see, the thigh support is a little bit lacking here in the VISTIQ, so it's not going to be quite as good as something like a gasoline GMC Acadia or Chevy Traverse, for instance, when it comes to the third row. I wish they had maybe scooted these seat bottoms up a little bit, but the overall legroom is pretty good. The headroom is good as well. And one thing I'm also noticing back here that I didn't even realize it was going to have is actually its own moonroof. So it does not open, of course, but you have a piece of glass to let in a lot of light here in the third row. As far as features are concerned, we have 2 seats back here. We have a nice leather pad for our arms to rest. We have vents here on the side, as well as a USB port and a nice cup holder. So overall, as far as how it rates on our third row rating scale, I'm going to say this is fit for in-laws. Now let's check out the cargo area of the VISTIQ. In order to open it up, you just press in on the Cadillac logo like in some of their other products. That's going to open it up and reveal a good amount of space. Now, Once again, don't have the official numbers at this time. However, I'll try and insert those in a box down below. As far as my professional estimate, it looks to be about, 12 to 13 cubic feet behind the third row of seats. The good news is that you do have buttons right here to power fold those seats down. It's just a simple one press system, and that's going to fold those seats down, and then you can also fold the second row. And then see if we can get it to work again. There we go. That's going to give you your maximum cargo figure. Overall, it looks to be a good amount of space. You're going to have a lot of cargo length to it, although I will say that because of the kind of sloped-off design of the vehicle, it does compromise a little bit when it comes to space, I believe. Then underneath of the floor, I'm happy to tell you that we have quite a large storage cubby, and that's good because, unfortunately, here on the VISTIQ, we do not have a frunk. So keep that in mind. Unlike the Escalade IQ, you're not going to have a giant frunk up in the front of the vehicle.
Now let's go ahead and talk about what is powering this SUV. So like I said at the beginning, when you see the IQ at the end of the name, you know that this is an electric product. So this Cadillac is going to be built on GM's Ultium platform, and it's using a 102 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack paired with standard dual motor all-wheel drive. Total power on board is going to be 615 horsepower and 640 pound-feet of torque. Now, as you'd expect, that does make this vehicle quite fast. When you press the max velocity mode, you can actually go 0 to 60 faster than an Escalade V. That's right, 3.7 seconds to 60 miles per hour. Now, as far as some other specifications you might want to know about, fast charging, of course, is available. Cadillac says you can add about 79 miles of range in approximately 10 minutes, or go from a low state of charge to 80% in about 45 minutes. And this does, by the way, support vehicle-to-home charging. Now, as far as the other important number, range, Cadillac says this is still undergoing final testing, but we should be able to get a number before this video is posted that they are estimating it will be rated by the EPA. And then one more thing I do want to mention at this section is the fact that this has an available air suspension, also has standard adaptive dampers. So even though this is available with quite large wheel sizes, those things should make it still have good ride quality even on rough roads.
All right, now let's discuss pricing for this VISTIQ. Now, Cadillac has not released the official pricing figures for this model just yet. However, we are going to give you a little bit of an estimate based on our professional opinion. Now, keep in mind these are not official numbers from Cadillac, but we are estimating that this vehicle will start around the $70,000 range and go up to about $90,000 fully loaded up. Now, as far as the availability of the vehicle, the 3 trim levels that was mentioned at the front of the vehicle, basically everything besides the Platinum, that will be available in early 2025. The Platinum trim level, Cadillac says, will come out in summer of 2025. Now, if you're looking to buy a Cadillac VISTIQ or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's going to be all for our in-depth first look review of the all-new 2026 Cadillac VISTIQ. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you tell the manufacturers that it's important for you to see these first look videos, and we really appreciate your support. Now, if you're already part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. You make this all possible, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.